least in the context of what's happening here locally.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Michael Tengan. He's a 2018 candidate for State Senate, District 7, which includes East Maui, Upcountry, Molokai, Lanai, and Ho'olave. It's one of the biggest districts in the state, and we're here to walk story. Thanks for joining us today, Michael.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah, the District 7 is a terrific district because it's my family coming from Maui way back when on the Hawaiian side in Kauai, which is East Maui towards Hana, as well as my grandfather's family, both on my mom and dad's side, all come from this general area. So it's something that's very near and dear to my heart because the opportunity to come in and step in to represent the rural areas, which historically has been appreciated in the Senate. You know, the things that happen in Honolulu tend to be focused upon what's happening in Honolulu. And so the opportunity that I see in terms of being able to be an advocate for my community is to redirect attention to the outer islands in general, because what's happening in Maui is vastly different than what's happening in Hawaii and what's happening in Big Islands, so on and so forth. Yet so much attention is still really focused on what's happening in urban Oahu.
So you're running against Jake Kalani English? And
yes.
He's had the position in the Senate since like 2001.
Yep.
What makes you think it's time for a change in leadership? What makes you think that you're the right person for that job?
Excellent question. Well, and I know Kalani English personally, and I've got nothing against him as a person. In looking at some of the legislation, though, that really, again, comes back to the proper representation of the community, I kind of question where his focus and priorities have been recently. In terms of why me, I think that there's a few things that I definitely bring to the table. The capacity to really focus upon the community means having those strong community ties. For me as a father with a young family, the issues that are really coming near and dear to my heart, things like affordable housing, for example, things such as economic development and how to do so in terms of opening up new opportunities outside of tourism, things like technology, so on and so forth, as well as what's really happening in the community itself. In terms of where we live up in Kula, it's just part of my own personal perspective is the more focused we can be on our own locality, the better connected we can be. And so really being able to be here and present in Maui County, having family in Hana, having family in Molokai, really knowing what's happening because I'm connected to the very pulse of my community, I feel are strong things that I can bring to the table. Additionally, I have a background in both business and in nonprofit. And so whether we're talking about fiscal responsibility and management, or whether we're talking about community organized and grassroots efforts, one of the things that I see, and this is more so personally from my perspective of the nonprofit sector, is that there's a huge disconnect between what's happening in our communities with these great organizations doing tremendous work and what's happening at the level of state. One of the things that I definitely saw from, again, my perspective is that with the change of administration, there is also a change in priorities for the state. And so to be able to see more consistent work that is upheld irrespective of administration is one of the things that I'd really like to see, and that's the opportunity that something like the Senate allows me, is to be able to be a consistent voice that advocates for our community and being able to assert those desires of the community's very will in a level that allows it to be moving forward consistently. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I can offer in terms of that seat.
So as far as what you perceive, what would you say are the three biggest concerns of the community?
Right. Well, it's rural Maui, right? And so we're looking like East Maui, we're looking at Upcountry, Molokai, Lanai, and Kaho'olawe. So while each island has its own specific desires and needs, generally speaking, one of the big issues right now, particularly in the awareness of everyone, is water. And water really ties to everything. Whether we're talking about agriculture, which is also, you know, in terms of my specific community, in terms of Kula, open spaces and agriculture is a very big issue. Being able to uphold those and maintain those over time to preserve those natural resources. Yet that's also the same for what's happening in Molokai and East Maui as well. So water, though, comes into play because it ties to both you know, our housing as well as agriculture. That's a very big issue. Two, then, if we're looking more so at the shoreline areas, one of the concerns that's coming into play is environmental issues. And so we start to see things in terms of, while not necessarily happening, well, it is happening now, but rising water and the erosion of our shorelines.
Right.
Things in relationship to how do we preserve these, our most fundamental and precious natural resources, while still maintaining the integrity of the land and the island. Three, I would say economic development. And so particularly in Maui County, with so much focus upon tourism, these areas such as Hana, for example, are being negatively affected by the pure stream of people who are coming into those areas, and again, checking out those natural resources. It's something that we have as a county wanted to build up more and more and more, and yet now we're past our carrying capacity of the island, with, you know, roughly 67,000 people coming in as tourists on any given day. And then you take that number to those areas such as Hana, going to, you know, the Seven Sacred Pools, for example. The number of people, whether we're talking about actually road traffic driving out to that area, or the number of people who are actually hiking in foot traffic. So the steady erosion of these natural resources is also a big concern in terms of what's happening in particularly East Maui, yet not exclusive by any means.
As far as cost of living goes and cost of housing on Maui, what are some ideas you have that you'd like to bring to the State Senate to help support working families?
Right. Well, you know, in terms of, so I see it in three parts. One is our housing, being able to redefine things in terms of what truly is affordable. Right now we use a search and designation which prices affordability about 12 to 15,000 above what actually the county has identified as our median house income. So there's a huge discrepancy. You know, developers can build affordable housing to a T, and yet it'll still not be attainable by our everyday person. So being able to redefine, which makes it much more focused upon each and every county, I feel is one part of it. Two, then being able to build specifically for our people. A lot of what happens in housing are these, you know, beautiful 3 to 4 bedroom homes with, you know, the granite countertops and whatnot, but it's not for us. And so being able to hold a higher standard in terms of what that development looks like is a big piece of it. Though